All right, guys. Welcome to Texas Gulf Surfer episode number 20.
Man, I'm so glad to be here. My name is Jeff DiNicola, and welcome to the show. I am your Texas Surf Ambassador. Imagine that, right? Before we get started, man, let me introduce my co-host. He is a legend in the making. King of Surfside, Austin Campbell, everybody.
Right on. Thanks, Jeff. Thanks, Jeff.
My pleasure, my pleasure. Man, big weekend this weekend, and the weekend prior to that, we did the Surf Museum live Facebook, and it was epic, man. I'm still buzzing from that, Austin.
Man, we had a good time there, and it was a good turnout. I think they raised some money. We saw a lot of people. We did a whole lot of interviews, and in fact, I'm still working on kind of breaking down all the interviews and getting them on, maybe naming them for each person. So, but we definitely had. Man, we had a lot of guys and gals out there.
We did so many interviews, and so many people came in and out there through the entire day. I hope everybody got out there. That's what we're kind of going to dedicate this show to, is we want to talk about some of the interviews. I have never been in a room where that many legendary Texas shapers, surfers, industry people in one room together. It was almost like a trade show kind of vibe, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a good time. We had, I think one of the fundraisers we did, one of the first fundraisers for the museum, it was like all the shapers got together.
Right.
And that was like kind of similar because, we had there's so many guys from Galveston or, that kind of included in the Galveston
Right.
exhibit. So yeah, it was a good time, man. We had, Terry Davis, Bob Martin, some of the shapers.
Stevie Rabalas. We're going to remember them as we go.
Yeah, man,
Rabalas.
it was all kinds of people. BJ. I mean, it was just like
We had
the who's who of the guys who
We had
shaped
Bryson
Galveston.
Williamson. We had, help me there, James Fulbright. Oh,
James
great
was out
interview,
there.
man. And I hope we're not missing anybody.
Oh man, there's all kinds of people. We'll talk about that though. So, but yeah,
Terry Davis.
So
Epic.
Terry's interview was great. We got some funny stuff from him. Terry's always great
He's
to talk
such
to.
an entertaining dude, man. We can't
Yeah.
wait to get him onto
Yeah.
the full-time deal.
And
interview.
but yeah, and then the surf kind of finally died out a little bit for the summer.
Yes.
It looks like, but we had some good surf over. I'd say up until end of last week.
Yeah, it's back to flat.
Back to flat. And
Back
then we
to
had
flat,
and then
man.
we had 4th of July, weekend, and it was real good, busy weekend everywhere. They had a little party over here at the surf station. Sun and Sea Cart. Shout out to them.
Yes, they came and did snow cones, hot dogs, hamburgers. It was 5th of July, so everybody came out, and it was a really, really good time.
Yeah.
Just before we forget, we had a lot of people reach out to us and want us to not really take a moment, but just to ask people to continue to pray for everyone in Kerrville. The families in that disaster there is absolutely heartbreaking, and we know people that are connected to that, and so our prayers are constant and with all of those people. So, man, shout out to everybody that prays for them, and that's just crazy, bro.
Yeah, we actually had some, I'm sure almost everybody
Surfers.
did because we had some friends.
Yeah.
It was 4th of July weekend and people were camping and everything. So we had a friend of ours, one of our good friends out in the water, Garrett.
Yeah, one of our local surfers.
He kind of had a, they
Run
were
with his
sitting-
family.
Yeah, they were sitting in the water playing and somebody called them and said, get out. And then it was right there. So yeah, our,
Tragic.
we want to,
Heartbreaking.
just put our thoughts out there with everybody. But yeah, so it definitely looks like the
Dude,
surf's going to go in flat.
That's sad,
so,
but I got something happy. You want to
Yeah.
talk about that?
What do we got
Look at
going
that,
on?
man.
Oh, so we do. We have the dog
Surfing contest, man,
Yeah.
coming up on Saturday, July 19th, put on by Ohana Surf and Skate. It's in Galveston.
And you know what? I might be there because
Dude, I'm there.
My daughter, we may be in Galveston that weekend doing some stuff anyways. So yeah, we may be there. So just hanging out, checking it out. So
I got buttonholed to be a judge.
Okay.
I've done it for the last couple of years, and John Jones is the beach marshal, and it is a ton of fun, man. It's all sponsored through the Galveston Humane Society. Moody
that was
Banks
one of the
Mine.
things we talked about with.
Dude, I want you to
with,
come.
Boog.
Yes, we talked. Yeah, we interviewed William Boog.
Yeah. No, if we're there and
Ohana
we're
Surf
not,
Skate.
if we're there and not running around doing birthday stuff with my daughter, we'll.
Tito's is there, man. Tito's Vodka. How about that?
It should be.
We're
good
open
time.
to sponsorship from Tito's
Yeah.
Vodka, by the way.
But-
but that's going to be so cool, man.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a good time. They always have a good turnout there. So
It really is. If you've never seen anything like that, it's a dog competition. Of course, the owners are pushing them in on the board, and it is probably the coolest thing.
they even had he said that's what Boog was saying in his.
Cool thing,
they even had a cat.
No way.
out there. Remember he said there was a surfing cat?
He did say that, but I don't remember that. I hope I see a surfing
Yeah.
cat. Man.
So anyways, yeah, so that'll be some good stuff going on
that
pretty
is
soon.
going to be super, super
And that's
fun,
what day
man.
is it's in mid-July, 17th?
That is the 19th of July.
19th of July. So go out to Galveston and check it out.
If you got a Ho Daddy dog that you think can surf, bring him out. It's $25 to get your dog in there, and you push him on a surfboard, and you win, prizes and stuff like that. So,
Good time,
man,
good time.
it is a fun time. Speaking of Galveston, we had some reports from our people there in Galveston. 4th of July was totally off the hook, man. Lockdown, seawall, traffic. As you can expect, fireworks and things of that. But it is really cool to bring that many people onto the island. And here in Surfside, we were booming.
Man,
Booming, man.
I want to say this.
Booming.
So Surfside was super busy.
Yes.
It was 4th of July on a Friday, but man, I want to get like a special shout out to the Surfside Police Department and our new chief Hester, and which actually
Philip Helster.
And unfortunately I've been so busy, and it sounds like he's been doing his job. We haven't even got to meet yet.
Right.
Which but man, I tell you this, that's probably the least amount of illegal fireworks on
Yes.
on this side of the island where you can't shoot them.
Yes.
That I've ever seen. Almost ever, and there wasn't. I wouldn't say there was like some big push or some big thing to with the police going around trying to tell
No,
people not to
at
do
all.
it. But whatever they did, man, Surfside Police Department, Chief Hester, y'all did a great job by cutting down the illegal fireworks, which is real dangerous because we live in wooden houses out here.
Yes.
They're like matchboxes.
Yep.
So man, shout out to them. They like seriously, and then everything was calmed down on County Beach. I mean, there's fireworks. It was.
Right.
I like to say it's like bombs over Baghdad there.
It certainly is.
And,
we went down there.
But
It was
man,
crazy.
it was cool, and everybody was calm, and
Yeah, no problems at all.
we didn't see a whole lot of fireworks on the city limit. So great job there, and but we were busy. We had
Yeah.
a great weekend. So
And down there in Port Aransas, Chris Shannon, a.k.a. Joe Surf, cool dude, man, been around a long time, legend as well. He was at the Surf Museum. He was telling me Port A, bumper to bumper, wall to wall, beach
Yeah.
completely inhabited by tourists. And he said the waves were small, kind of like a south wind, kind of not real good for down there, but beach went off. 4th of July was epic down there in Port Aransas, Corpus Christi area.
yeah, we've been having some jellies here.
Yes. What about further south?
So-
in one of my favorite spots.
Yeah, so I got a little bit of some updates from Aaron.
Aaron, let's hear.
Our U.S. champ.
Our United States Surfing Champ.
Yeah. So she did.
Congratulations,
I'm just
Aaron.
going to read what she sent me to. It's great because she said blue water. She said
Ooh.
okay surf last week, and there was some
Nice.
really good surf with some offshores. Clayton's was firing. Jetty was practically flat. Summer camp is jamming. The kids are happy, and there's been lots of fun. So they're
Yeah.
doing They do a great job at the camp down there. And like I said, they added a bunch of stuff this year where they were doing like bay sports and some other stuff. So
They're kind of like this outfitting company, man. You go there, whatever your interest may be. Maybe you're not a surfer and you want to go ride a wave run or
Yeah,
whatever.
get down there if you're down in South.
Yeah.
If you're down in South Padre Island, go see them, man. They're great.
And I am going to get down there,
SBI
man.
sessions.
Yeah, I am, man. So who else? Let me think, Austin. Who was in the golly, man? We talked to man. Bob Martin. Let me tell you, man, that guy is so funny. And it's funny because I rode those daggum hurricane boards, super popular. If you were around back in the day and had a hurricane board shaped by that man, magic. And I didn't know, and we found out with talking to him. If you didn't watch his interview, I was like, man, how did the hurricane name come about? Because I always liked the flags, that they put on the
Yeah.
board, the hurricane flags. Like, I thought it was really super
Well, see,
cool.
he
What
said
was
he-
the story?
he
How'd
said
that work?
He said he wanted to do hurricane because hurricanes was,
What we
he
live
thought-
for?
What we look for as far as big waves and surfing. So he
Right,
thought of the
right.
name hurricane, and he said he was trying to figure out like how to write it. And he said, I think he said he opened the newspaper, and there was an ad for
That's right. I remember
hurricane
that, yep.
shutters.
Right.
I think he said it was hurricane shutters, and he said the way it was written was exactly how he said I just ripped it off. I love it.
I just
He's like,
ripped it off.
Yeah, we just
Bob,
and
classic.
it was just the letters, right? He already had the name, right? And so, but that was great, with Bob. But he's a great craftsman. He does all kinds of different things. He was saying he was thinking about maybe building himself a paddleboard and getting back out there. Maybe
Good for
trying
him,
to.
man.
you
Good
know.
for him,
Said he was
man.
going to start with some small ones and bigger, but Bob's a great inspiration to a lot of us
And
shapers.
Most everybody came through his four walls. If you were a shaper in
Yeah,
Galveston,
and if even you still, maybe not directly from him,
Yeah.
people that learned from him,
Yeah.
it's and I'd say now we're pretty good about sharing some information with each other, the shapers. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
But we all pick up the phone and call.
That was one of the things that James Fulbright was talking about, and we addressed that. He said back in the day, man, I mean, it was kind of a secret art. You know, people didn't want to just collaborate and share a whole lot of stuff. And I can even remember, like, sanders used to try to break into the, you know, if you were a sander or glasser, you tried to break in and get into the shaping room. It wasn't easy. Nobody, invited you in. And James was telling us some things about, you know, his journey to get to where he was. And
yeah, you have to either, know somebody that brought you in, or back then there wasn't like YouTube,
No.
so you couldn't just
No,
learn.
not
You
at
had to
all.
watch somebody. I it was funny because I was watching. I was kind of a kid, a teenager, and sometimes hanging around with Steve Matthias and Steve Ostin, and they would be shaping boards. And I had absolutely no interest in shaping a surfboard, right?
Sure.
I would go surf, and I was wanting to do other things. Surf, ride my bike, play basketball. Go look for chicks on the beach. But we'd hang out there, and I had no idea I was like soaking up some of the things that they did. Because when I started shaping, I was like, I remember all these things that Steve Matthias and Steve Ostin were doing, and it was just kind of an accident. That was just because listening to them. Although you can't hang around with Steve Matthias and not listen to all.
Yeah, did you notice that? Not your story's similar to what almost every shaper that we had on an interview that day. They all learned in these weird kind of ways. Terry Davis, even the way he learned to surf was weird.
He learned to shape 'cause
bikers.
His kids wanted a board, and they were expensive, and he said, "How about we build you one?"
Right, he learned to surf from
But
bikers.
he had skill,
Oh yeah, and he shaped out of necessity. Man,
Yep.
kids wanted to surf, and
But
he
the
says,
biker,
"Well, let's make a board."
The bikers teaching him to surf. How many people got taught to surf by bikers?
There's some great stories, and those guys are so deep in the history. But even like BJ, we talked about some of the original surf shops. At one time, there was 3 or 4 surf shops in the city of Houston. Is there even one now?
Yeah, you got Soundwaves is in the city.
Soundwaves, okay.
Soundwaves is the only one maybe
Yeah.
in the city. It's a real surf shop,
It was a different era, and I think that was kind of fun when we were interviewing these guys and them talking about surfing and back in the day when it was really cool. And even BJ said, "Yeah, we sold 6,000 boards in 14 years." I don't know what the math is on that, but it seems like a lot of boards to me. And where did we have that many surfers? Where did all these boards get
Well, I mean,
consumed here
I
in
think we have a lot of
Texas?
surfers. I think people, people just naturally buy things online,
Yeah, yeah.
I think we talked about that, too, is like
Yeah.
there's probably
I'm guilty of
there's
it.
probably enough shapers here that people could order, but if everybody ordered boards from all the shapers, man, we would be so backed up, so it is really,
Understood.
we understand that, we, here, think about this, like you don't see a lot of Psycho boards on the racks at the surf station because we have so many orders for custom ones. So
Yeah.
if we have 15, if we got
Yep.
10 or 15 orders for custom boards,
Yep.
and if anybody knows how to clone people, and we could clone KP
Yep.
and myself and Dougie, man, we could have like
Yeah.
a bunch. So if there's any guys out there cloning people, we get we
Again,
get
I really
So-
appreciated in interviewing all those shapers. Not that it's a lost art, but it's still a secret art now with all the pop outs and
Well,
the this and that and the other. I just hope we never lose the.
it's hard.
the
So here's
there's the words I'm looking for.
this,
I don't ever want to lose shapers.
right. And
to
here's the thing.
machines.
It's a
That's my deal.
and we had a CNC machine here,
I know.
and we you look at it like we sold it.
Yeah.
I sold it because, man, I felt like my bread and butter was hand shaped custom boards.
Yeah.
And you can shape 50 boards on a machine, but you still got to glass them.
Yeah.
So you need a bunch of glassers. And then then you get a lot of people here, and I'm sure other people that build boards, kind of like we were talking about.
Yeah.
You get people who want to learn how to build boards. They come in and they all say, "Hey, I want to learn how to."
We need that a young group of
But
shapers.
this is what happens, though. They all want to learn how to shape boards. They all want to be the shaper because that's who kind of gets all the glory.
The quarterback.
That's whose name is on the board or
Oh,
whatever.
yeah. Yep.
But they don't understand that the important part so much is the glasser and the sander. And so you have to learn how to do ding
True.
repair. You have to learn how to do ding repairs first.
It is true.
So, and then also, we've had a few in here, and they find out that it's hard work to build a surfboard. It's not that easy work, right? So then, and also, the 100% truth, we tell them there's really no money in building surfboards until you get good enough to sell them for, a amount of money. It's, somewhat expensive, a nice quality board, right? So, and one of the things I say is building surfboards isn't hard. Making them pretty is.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So making that board pretty and presentable to buy and to be a, $12, $13, $14, $2,000 board,
Yeah.
you have to it takes a lot of time. So, going back to some of those guys learning and some of and kind of keeping them going is we need people who want to do it, but don't want to do it for the money.
Yes.
And then one day they can do it for the money.
Speaking of pretty boards, man, it was really fun interviewing Stevie Rubellis. His some of his artwork, man, some of his 80s and 90s and early 2000 artwork, and they had some on display at the Surf Museum. Impressive, and that was really cool. And he kind of talked Stevie about how he kind of was weaned by Bob Martin and some of the other guys, but even before all them dudes,
he's airbrushing.
I did not know this. We interviewed this guy Doug Prunes, who was the shaper before any of the shapers. I didn't know anything about him.
He built boards for another guy. He said, right?
Right, but how did he popped on and we knew nothing about it? We're like, oh my God, this guy was the beginning, the Dom. He was like the original OG
Bob Martin
dude.
learned from him.
Exactly.
Right. So that was.
Go back and watch that on Facebook, man. That interview with that guy. Man,
I think he was our first.
Dude,
Was he our first interview?
Yeah, I
think Al was our first.
Dude, I
interview.
feel like I was interviewing the John Gotti of surfboard making down in Galveston. That guy was deep in roots and crazy.
Yeah.
And I apologize.
He said he had polio, right, when he was a kid.
Yes, he did.
And so he had a little bit of a disability, but it didn't stop him at
Didn't
all
stop him one
from
bit.
being a great shaper.
Yeah.
So that was.
And he was talking about how heavy the boards were back in the day and how they had to do them. It was kind of really cool, man. It
Yeah,
was fun.
and those boards were, it's funny because, like I said before, it's like a lot of those designs those guys were doing is like I'm building those same boards,
Right.
with just a little bit newer material, but pretty much the same,
Yeah.
material.
It's true.
You know?
It's true. Man, we had a few guys pop on there that weren't shapers. Some locals, man. Steve Hirsch popped on the Surf Museum.
Photographer, great photographer.
Yeah, good photographer. Surfer out of Galveston. Ben.
He's an all right surfer too.
Yeah, he's okay. We let him with us. Well, he can hang with us. And then we had Ben Reyna, which we were just, it was funny because the way we were set up, we were just kind of grabbing any legend we can. And Ben came on. And Ben's a cool guy, man. Ben Galveston really is out of Surfside. But the most important thing is that we're doing a secret mission.
We're fishing.
We're fishing.
Yeah, we're going to do a secret fishing mission.
We're doing a secret fishing mission. So with Ben, we'll have some video documentation of that fishing trip soon.
Yeah, it's good. I heard he has
Can't
a nice
wait.
boat. So yeah,
Yes.
and he's a good musician too.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Man.
We'll have to put some Ben's music to that secret
Yes,
video.
the secret
we'll
mission
have,
that me and
something
Austin will
like
be going on pretty soon, man.
Yeah, so that'll be fun.
But I mean, God, I don't.
What else? We had Bobby Morrow on.
I mean, Bobby Morrow. What'd you think of him? Man, what a classic dude, right?
Bobby's just cool.
He is kind of a
you know,
cool guy.
He's just cool. He's kind of like just chill. And I actually had somebody send me some pictures of him.
Yes.
Of surfing and skating and stuff. So I'm gonna get those. We're gonna get those maybe up or something like that.
Some of our previous guests have spoke so highly of this man, Bobby Morrow. And when I didn't grow up with him or know him very well, but got to talk to him a lot that day. And when we interviewed him, you felt like this guy would have been a great athlete no matter what sport he chose. You just kind of sense that about him. But he was just he was kind of super like zen, kind of like maybe you're kind of like John Lennon of surfing. He was like that cool, right?
Yeah, kind of chilling. Yeah, a lot of
really
those guys,
cool,
like Brett and all them were like talking about looking up to him.
Yes, and all of the Hopkins came to the museum, took a lot of pictures. Gabe was there, which was the Prince of Galveston came to the Surf Museum. That was nice.
There was a lot of people there, man. They had they had a pretty good turnout there. And like I said, they do we know who won the board?
No, we don't know who won
man.
the board. But I want to throw this in. If you have not been to that Texas Surf Museum in Galveston, go. Let me tell you, that was my first time there, and I had several opportunities to go there, but this was really the first time. And I'm glad we got there about an hour early because I spent that whole hour walking around the stuff that they have on display there. If you're any kind of a historian or have any appreciation for Texas surfing history, go. That's all I can tell you to do, man. Go.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
they had.
Yeah.
I like how they're going to do they're going to keep certain displays for a certain amount of time, and they're going to change them like any museum does. So it'll kind of
They're going
change
to trade
out.
them out and stuff like that.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
Eduardo, the director over there, and Kelly Daughtry, a lot of people, man, they did an epic job, man. Really, really good. And they opened the doors. Everybody got to go in free that day, which was great. How cool was that? So people were just coming in by the groves, man. It was kind of cool. Kind of fun, man.
I was trying to see, everybody's kind of hoping that our summertime surf isn't over, but it looks like
Yeah, I need a forecast.
it looks like we're going to probably be kind of keeping our fingers crossed for the next couple weeks or so. There's like some
Weeks.
there's
Sucks.
some bump showing. There's actually some bump showing midweek here. but
Midweek. I'll
is-
take it.
Are we going to trust it?
Yes.
If the wind's going to pump up. So
Yes.
I'll say that there's a chance that Wednesday, Thursday, Friday we might have a little surf.
Yes.
And then it looks like after the weekend,
Yes.
it's going to stay in the 2-foot range. It looks like for about
Yes.
2 weeks. You know
Yes.
what I'm saying? So, but I think it looks like maybe Wednesday, Thursday, Friday we might have a little bit of surf coming here.
I'm in.
And
I'll
of
take
course
whatever
it'll
I
be
can get.
up and down the coast. It pretty much seemed like it was going to be similar conditions.
Yep.
So-
Yep. That's going to be good. I'll take it. At this point, summer wind chop 2 to 4 all day long. What we had this last swell was a blessing and a gift.
We had some good days, man. That
Man,
were
we had
like
2 or 3 or 4 good days. Man. It was
We're,
really fun, man.
yeah, and then we did have. This is what I heard. I heard that these two guys were out there surfing, and one guy like dropped in on another guy, and then there was like some fingers pointing, and
But it just-
some middle fingers pointing, and all this. Turns out that might not been.
Don't believe everything that you see, and I'll give the short story of it, and that is
we always drop in on our friends.
we always drop in on our friends, but there was 3 of us paddling, and one guy was over here, and I took off on my good friend Sir Chet, king of Surfside's best buddy, the knight himself, Sir Chet. Man, I swear.
Yeah, it was a lot.
We're friends, right?
Y'all are pretty good ways
We're
away.
just kind of taking off, and we're enjoying the wave together. But it just goes to show: be careful with the fake news. What it looks like is happening is as we're surfing. I turned and was apologizing to him, saying, "I'm so sorry, I didn't see you. Sorry." And he's going, "No problem."
And Chet's saying, we were this close.
Yes, we were this close.
Yeah, it
but
was
what
great.
It looked like he was giving me this.
Yeah.
And so it got like 4,000 views, and what people around the country thought that these 2 surfers were going at it and mad, and it was just go watch it. It's
Oh,
funny.
it's
It's
great
on.
stuff.
It's on Texas Dirt Surfer.
Yeah.
On the Berry Swell, and you
Oh,
gotta
and
watch it.
it's on Texas Surf Cartel everywhere.
Texas, and it just goes funny because it wasn't any argument at all, and we were having fun on the way. But what people interpreted it to be,
Man,
just go read what
but-
people wrote.
But that day, I feel like there was probably.
It was funny.
There was 150 people in the water.
Dude, I got called a kook, and then one guy said I was wearing a life jacket.
Yeah. But it's because I dropped in on Gary Hector, but I did tell him before I dropped in on him.
Well, there you
He
go.
he was way out
But
there.
Gary's
on one of
totally
the-
cool,
He was
man.
way out there on his giant board, and I was like, and I told him I'm dropping in on you on this next one, and he said, come on. So we rode one. So
Dude, that guy can catch a wave 10, 20 yards out past me every daggone
Yeah,
time.
yeah,
So I try
yeah.
to stay away from him when I
he
surf.
said, come on, anytime. Yeah, but that's how we do it, But no, it was great. And
Possible surf Wednesday.
we
I'm
did have
available
some good
for that.
surf, man. That was like was it a Sunday? Was that a Sunday or Saturday? I don't know.
think that was
it
a Sunday
I feel like it was
or
a Sunday.
Saturday.
But man, it was packed.
Yeah.
You know.
It got really crowded, and conditions were a little testy. It wasn't quite as friendly as we like it out there, but we understand that.
Yeah.
And that just happens, and when you get that many people.
And I
out there.
dropped in on a wave, and I looked up, and there was Doc, and somebody else. I don't know who it was. And I basically shot the pier, but I shot the legends.
You shot the legends.
I was
This is
right-
great.
I
Doc
was right
Sperry, man,
between,
the legend.
yeah.
Who was the other legend?
Man, I can't remember who it was.
Nah,
I was
okay.
looking at Doc too much. The other guy was.
Well,
but
hey,
it was a good time though.
real quick, man, we're in no hurry, but I want to thank Austin for lending us this beautiful facility, the surf station in beautiful downtown Surfside Beach, Texas, which this is going to blow y'all's mind. You can get everything in this surf shop from a fin screw all the way up to a 10-2. Buy local, man. That's what I'm here to do.
Yeah, and we
man.
got a few 10-2s in here.
We
I
do,
think.
man. So find a local place to shop and spend your money. It's very, very important, man.
There's definitely a lot of places here in Surfside and all the little beach towns.
Oh, all up and down the
you know,
Texas coast,
local
man.
stuff. And hey, I'll say this, if you're gonna order something or whatever, call Fulbright or me or one of the other
Yeah.
places and ask us. If we don't have it, we'll order it for you, and we can get it pretty quick too.
Man, did we miss any of the shapers that came in?
Um,
I'm trying to think, man.
let's see who else we saw. We got Terry Davis. We got some stories from him.
Yeah, he's
James,
funny, yeah.
James had some good stuff. Let's see who else.
We got Doug Prunez. And
Yep.
we got pretty much. I think we
And
got
then we
them
had
all,
some
man.
of the surfers. We talked to Kay.
Karen McKay.
Karen McKay.
Man, she's a former United States surfing champion, and she was such a cool lady. She's the absolute last interview that we do that day, and she's telling me about this group of women. For all you lady followers, please, I don't want to misquote it, but go and watch the very last 2 minutes of the episode. She comes on, and man, this lady is cool. She's regathering some of the people that she had that competition with, and I don't want to misquote it, but it's a gathering of female surfers to go and ride this right point break, and it's pretty cool. So go and check it out, especially for lady surfers and female surfers. Man, she is still on top.
Yeah,
of the
she
game.
went over.
Totally cool.
She came from Texas and went to the Nationals that year, and she won. Right? Didn't she say
Yes.
she won? Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it was like,
Yeah. Yeah.
she's like, man, I don't even know what was going on. I just went out there and surfed, and she said the wave was so good, and she was just like, I'm going to win this thing.
Yeah, isn't that great, man? Because
Yeah.
sometimes when you don't know who you're surfing against, people that are better, you just go and win that daggum thing. But she was really a fun little interview. I wish we had more time with her. We probably need to bring her in for
We got some good guests coming on pretty soon.
We do. So stay tuned.
We got a pretty good lineup. We've been kind of working on some things and getting some people.
Yep.
And we're gonna, keep some stuff going. We got the summer. Summer's not over, so
It's not.
You know.
And thank everybody for tuning in and watching us. And please subscribe and share. And I want to thank, this is unbelievable, Lindsay and Josh from Southern Ohio. We have fans in Southern Ohio.
Southern Ohio.
Isn't that cool? Super good people, man. So thank you guys very much. Shout out to you guys, man. Come to Surfside, man. Let's get those surfing lessons going and get you guys up and running, man. That'd be great. Southern Ohio, man.
Man, that's pretty crazy.
I
man.
know.
So,
Lindsay and Josh.
Man.
Love that stuff, man.
well, I think we got a pretty busy week this week going on. We got a bunch of boards on order, so we got a lot of things going. So, I think maybe we probably have to wrap it up. I know we got.
Sure we don't have time?
No, I know we got Matt in the back, and he's but apologies,
Dude.
Matt McConaughey. We ran out of time again. We got to get some working on some boards, and I know we
Dude's
got to get
eating.
those hot coats. We got to get those hot coats going back there.
Dude's back there eating Cheetos. Drives here from Austin, Texas. God bless Matt McConaughey. We'll get you on one day, brother. Peace out. Love you guys.
All right,
man.
y'all have a good
All
one.
righty.